Welcome back. I don't know if you know this, but we have another monthly craft box available. This month's craft box is called the Sizzix Floral Wreath Craft Box. It's quite a mouthful. I've practiced that many times, but I got it out. But this month we have some great opportunities to test out some of our making essentials, our die sets, some of our new surfaces, and I don't know if you've maybe seen some of our other videos coming out from the other designers, but we have a lot of versatile projects that you can make with this. So some have done cards, some have done scrapbook pages. I'm doing a home decor piece today. We just want to show you that no matter what comes in the craft box, you can make it your own. You can do whatever you need to do with it to make it a fun, inspirational piece to give to someone else or to keep in your own home. I'm going to be using some other tools that are not available in the box, but if you have any questions about anything I'm using, just pop it in the comment section and we will be happy to answer or link the products that you're curious about so that you can find them on our websites. I'm going to show you the project I'm making. So I've taken the contents of the box and I had a frame at home, so that's not in the box, but everything else on the page is. And this is just a fun little floral home decor piece. I've chosen some colors that kind of blend well with my house from the papers that are available. And I'm gonna show you real quick what's in the box so you know what you're getting. You get 2 of our biodegradable fine glitters in Purple Dusk and Mint Julep. These are so much fun and their colors are really vibrant, which I love with glitter. You also get our Chapter 2 die set called Wedding Wreath, and I happen to think that this is my favorite die set we've released so far this year. I love this die set. You also are going to get some of our Framelits. This is the ovals, and you get 7 of these. They're really nice nesting oval shapes, and these I'm not going to use on the project today, but these are really great just to have in your stash for everyday kind of makes. You're also gonna get adhesive sheets. These come in a 10-pack. When you're working with intricate dies like the wedding wreath, it's awesome to have these because they make putting the projects down that much easier. You also are gonna get 10 pieces of cardstock in our bold colors. So we've got hibiscus, mango tango, lush leaves, agave, mermaid kiss, bluebell, purple dusk, caramel toffee, cobblestone, and Earl Grey. These are really fun, vibrant colors, just like the summer months usually are. And then you get 10 sheets of our Ivory Opulent cardstock. So you get 2 sheets of each kind. So it comes with the glitter, the soft touch, brushed pearl, which is like a nice linen effect, the pearl, and then mirror. So you get 10 sheets of that, which is a great opportunity to test out our opulents if you haven't had a chance to, because all of the ranges look similar to that. Okay, so let's get to making. The first thing I did was I took some of the brushed pearl and I actually cut this down to size to fit inside the frame. So that's actually the background I'm working on, is this brushed pearl from the Opulent range. And I haven't glued down my frame yet because I wanted to show you how to layer it all up. So I'm going to remove all these pieces real quick so that you can see how I created this layout. And as you can see, I didn't even glue this down yet. Okay, so first things first. To get the wreath, one of the best ways to get the wreath to lay down, I cut out 2 wreaths from the agave cardstock. Now the bottom one, I wanted to adhere directly to the linen cardstock, and so I put an adhesive sheet on the back of that one. Just gonna trim off the excess that hangs over. If you don't trim this off, it gets your cutting pad sticky, and I don't want that, and I don't think you do either. So what I do recommend when you're cutting intricate dies is to use the Chrome Precision base plate. This just allows for the fine details to cut that much easier. and makes your life a lot easier than having to run it through the machine multiple times. So I'm just gonna run it through twice because this has a lot of detail on it. And so you put your Chrome Precision base plate acts as your bottom cutting pad, and so you only need one cutting pad when you're running it through the machine. And that cracking sound is totally normal. That's just the dye going through the paper. So what I like to do is I always flip it over to make sure that it's cut through, and it has. So I'm gonna take this out real quick. And then I wanted to add a little bit of dimension, like a dimensional effect onto the background because it is white. So I took the multi-tool with the blending tool head, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of like a navy ink around the edge, just so it makes like the berries stand out. I did this when I cut this same wreath out of the caramel toffee, and I added some brown ink onto the leaves just to give it some color variation in between. So you can see I'm just going over where those berries are with some of my navy ink. And then I cut this out again and did the same thing. So you're gonna cut this wreath twice in this color, which is the agave, and you're gonna cut it once again in the caramel toffee, which is the brown color. And you'll add your ink to them and then just set them aside. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. The next thing I wanna do is create all my florals. So what I did is I picked out my flowers and I did 3s of everything. When you're doing a wreath, the design and the way that it lays out, it's really nice to have odd numbers. It just allows the, I don't know, I guess the design to just feel more even, ironically enough, given that you're using odd numbers. So I'm gonna show you how I cut a few of these pieces and how I sculpted them to make them look real. So for these rosettes, you can see I did those in glitter. So in order to do that, I actually took the Purple Desk cardstock and I, again, backed it in an adhesive sheet. Because what is really nice about our fine glitters is that they stick really well to our adhesive sheets. So again, I'm just gonna cut this down to size real quick so I can cut out one of the rosettes. So I'm gonna cut one of these. Now I've gone back to my normal cutting pad and another cutting pad on top, and you're just gonna run this through. And I'm gonna set this aside and just cut out one of my other flowers real quick. So if you want to add like extra dimension when you're working with florals, you're gonna cut multiple levels of each petal. That way when you paper sculpt them and adhere them together, you're just getting much more depth, and it adds a really nice effect when you're done. So I'm gonna grab some of my paper sculpting tools so that you can see on the ones that I'm not doing glitter on what I did first to give them some dimension. So with these guys, I've got the paper sculpting kit comes with multiple stylus tools, a gray molding mat, some tweezers, which I'll pull out in just a minute, and some other various tools. But today I'm only going to be using the tweezers and the stylus and the gray molding mat. So when you have smaller flowers, I recommend working with the smaller stylus heads. I want this to be the front side of my flowers, so I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna style, not style, but sculpt from the back first. So I'm just pushing down into the mat with some pressure, and you notice how I'm just sticking to these outside edges of these petals, and then I flip it over and I do the interior. I do that again on another petal, and I cut out my other pieces, and then you stack and layer them all with express glue, and then you've got those. It's the same with these guys. I just cut them all out, sculpted them, adhered them together, really simple and easy. But for the rosettes, I wanted to have a little something extra on those. So that's where I added the glitter. So I'm gonna show you how I did that real quick. So I've brought in my handy dandy funnel tray to keep the mess to a minimum, because we all know as crafters, it can get really messy. So what I'm gonna do is I've got my purple desk glitter right here, and I'm just gonna peel away the adhesive sheet. Okay. And then you literally just put some glitter on top of that and pick it up. Tap away the excess, but then I like to push it into and burnish that glitter into the adhesive sheet, because then it is less likely to keep coming off on your projects, on your hands. So I just rub it in nicely and as hard as you can actually into that adhesive sheet. And it actually, you can see how it starts to like go from having this dimensional effect to a smooth effect, which when you are sculpting this later, you want that. You want to have that smooth effect. And now I know that the glitter is not going anywhere. Okay, so once I do that, I'm gonna take a pair of tweezers and I'm going to turn the rosette in on itself. Now I have turned on my hot glue gun, and when I'm working with something dimensional, I like to use a little bit of glue, but I do not want to burn myself, so I'm gonna use my glue gun accessories real quick to hold this in place. So with these rosettes, you just put a little dab of glue right here at the very end. Okay. And then you just center the rest of the flower over the top of that, and because I'm holding it from the back, I'm gonna put my finger protector there. And then you can tighten it as the glue is setting. You can turn it in and tighten it. And then I just hold it there for a few seconds while it's setting in place. Okay. And then what I like to do to make these feel wider is I just take and I twist out the petal edges. This just makes it feel more realistic. It also makes the flower feel a little bit larger than it is. So I would just keep going and doing that all the way around. Okay, so now I've got all of my elements cut. Like I said, I've already had a few put on here. So I'd shown you, I cut this out with the wreath and I put it down with the adhesive sheet. You can also do it with the glue gun if you want to, just putting it on the glue in various small places to hold it in, but I have used the adhesive sheets on these, and then I'm gonna use the adhesive sheet on this top one as well. So I'm gonna move those out of the way so I can get in here real quick. So you're just gonna peel away your adhesive sheet. Look how easy that is. I'm gonna just dab off that extra glitter that's coming off from my hands because I didn't clean them off in between. And then I'm just gonna kind of see how I wanna lay this down. What's nice with the adhesive sheets when you do this is it's not necessarily like permanent as when you do it with liquid adhesive or glue. So I can kind of manipulate the leaves around as I want to. Okay. can even kind of leave some of them standing up so it feels a little bit more full and dimensional. Now for the rest of the project, I would recommend using hot glue to put everything down. The reason I say that is when you're doing a home decor piece, usually it's going to stand vertically, and so you want those pieces to be really secure, and hot glue is the best way to do that. So that's what I'm going to use to put down all of my flowers. Now the first thing I like to do is place everything. So like I said, I'm going to work in groups of 3. So what I usually do is I go around and I place the first set of flowers kind of evenly spaced, and then I go and I place the next set, and then the third ones. This way you're getting the same kind of layout all the way around. Okay. And then I've also cut these smaller florals. These ones I did in cardstock, but then you can see on this little guy, I did that glitter effect, but using the mint julep. Okay, so I'm gonna work my way around placing these ones next. Then I'm gonna put in my cardstock. And then I cut these little guys out of the glitter Opulent cardstock. So I'll place these in. So I like the way that lays out. So I'm just gonna now go in and glue all of these in with a small dab of hot glue. And you can see once you've got all of your elements, putting this together is really quick and easy. It's a nice way to add a little bit of creativity to your house, but also something that you can change out seasonally if you want to, depending on the colors. You could add in a photo into the center. You could add a sentiment into the center, something that maybe you have in your die sets that you like, that you can put a word in. We also have free downloadable phrases on our websites that you can get some nice phrasing from if you wanted to use that. I think you could, the oval shape that comes in the die set would be really nice. You could cut that out in the center and put it up with foam tape and put a nice quote on there. That's the one thing I love about these craft boxes is you get the tools, you get the like making essentials to make everything, but then you really have the ability to make it your own. And I think that's the best part about being a creative, is just kind of taking something and making it your own. So you can see this process goes really fast. It's not taking me very long to get this all into place. And you can always go back in with a pair of tweezers and pull up leaves and make it dimensional. I think I've got just this last one. Okay, so I'm gonna get my glue out of the way and blow away with some of my glitter. And you can go back in with glitter. You can go back in with like a paintbrush and brush away all the extra glitter that comes off, because that's what happens with glitter. It's always a little bit extra. But that's what I've got for our craft box for this month, and I hope you are enjoying yours at home. If you already have it, there's going to be some more inspirational videos coming your way. If you don't have it, you might want to check it out. I hear the numbers are getting kind of low, so now's your chance to grab it. We hope you're inspired and that you have enjoyed this make. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks so much.